Welcome to the Creative Life podcast show. I'm your host, Chris Tices, and we do have a guest here, Nathan, who's one of our uh, members of the Nintendo Engineers or followers or subscribers, as they call it. So, big
Yeah,
welcome. How are you going?
I'm good, Chris. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to just hang out and talk about, I guess, things creative and yeah, just be on. Like, I've been following the Nintendo Ninja News channel now, on and off for years, and it's cool to be able to be on it. So thank you.
Well, yeah, it's good to sort of, get someone on for the podcast. It's a little different. I guess the creative life is a bit more general than Nintendo Engineers, but there's always a bit of a crossover between people who listen to it and other stuff and that. So it's been cool so far to get the first guest on. So Rich is nice.
Wait, I'm the first guest?
Well, you're the first guest on the podcast, yes.
Oh, that's wow.
There
Cheers,
you
mate.
go.
Appreciate that. Yeah,
Episode 9. So there
yeah,
you go. So it was either who's in first, best dressed, as they say.
yeah. Cool.
So, but yeah. But we'll talk, I guess, a bit about Nintendo Engineers. First off, seeing this is video game related stuff and Rocket League later on.
hmm
So you've been following Nintendo Engineers for a while, and what do you think of the channel and the strengths and that? We talked a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Before
Well, I
the
think
show.
so. I actually found the Nintendo Ninja News channel when Pokemon Go was like still really popping, and you used to comment on like a lot of Facebook pages. And at first, I thought you were just like a know-it-all, and I was like, oh, this guy's a like a know-it-all. But then I
Mhm.
found my way to the channel, and then I just kind of grew to appreciate the content of the channel, how hyper focused I guess it was. And this is before you even started streaming, like on Nintendo, because
Mhm.
I am a personally huge, long-time fan of Nintendo. I have Luigi tattooed on my leg,
Oh wow.
and yeah, I collect all the vintage Nintendo consoles. I'm an avid Pokemon fan, and
Mm.
I just grew to appreciate your real depth of understanding, I guess, and the channel on a whole about how it was really just focused on the GameCube, the Switch, the Wii U, and that really appealed to me. So you kind of turned me over, and then your personality, you're just like an easygoing, likable guy. And so I started watching. I actually think, and correct me if I'm wrong, when your channel first got monetized, while you're doing a live stream, I think I was the first person to ever give you a donation.
I think you were. I think you were one of the first. I can't quite check on it, but yeah, I think you probably were or very close to it. Yeah. But yeah, the channel's been going for a number of years now, and I think that I enjoy doing, I guess, giving knowledge about Nintendo and things like that. I guess I look how I do my channel. I think I look at it from the fans' point of view, but also the business point of view. So I think that's a big difference from a lot of the other channels that sort of fanboy, but too much.
No, but I get that because you do.
Mm.
Like, you talk about like things that you think like when the Switch lineups of 2020 and 2019 were being speculated, you had a lot of genuine insight based on like history of the company and when they'd be dropping what games. A lot of your stuff regarding like Super Smash Brothers and what characters you speculated would be joining, a lot of that was like pretty spot on. And
Yeah.
I think that's like for someone who's interested in gaming to have a like-minded person who's like also interested in this genre, which is a smaller group, I would say. Particularly potentially in like because we're both adults, yeah. I
Mhm.
feel like the Switch is still in a lot of ways targeted towards a younger audience, and so
Oh yeah.
there's less people our age talking about it, but there's still such a loyal, dedicated community that grew up with these characters, and they're invested, and like you're like keeping that interest, and it makes like other people interested.
Yeah, that's true. I definitely think there's that younger generation. There's also a lot of older generation that's sort of still into Nintendo and buying the franchise, especially Pokemon. That I think the average age is really into the 20s and 30s
Mate, you got to catch them
to
all.
buy
It
the
never
game.
ends.
Yeah, pretty much. So there's two more game. Well, the few Pokemon games coming out next month is Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, I've already got my pre-order. I'm very
Oh, nice.
excited. I did a speed run on the Nintendo 64 of the original Pokemon Snap, and I captured a photo of Mew, I think in like 52 minutes. So I was pretty happy with that. So I'm ready for the new one.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'll probably get it down the track. And what's the remake of Diamond and Pearl, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and then there's also Pokemon Arceus, which is super interesting to me.
Really interesting, the whole open world thing. I'm not too sure how they will do it. It will be a big challenge for Game Freak, I think. I
Are
think it
you,
will be more like the open areas
as
instead of
like
in field.
as a content creator, are you more interested in Arceus or the remakes of Pearl?
Probably the new one. I
Yeah.
mean, like the remakes, like some older people hop on and see what it's like. But I think the open world thing is what everyone's going to be streaming it, I suppose.
Mm.
And if it turns out really good and people enjoy it, then that would be great for the franchise moving on, seeming it's been a little bit stuck at times, the series.
Yeah, I think like so the most recent Pokemon game, Sun and not Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, sorry. I think the Tundra, the Wild Tundra was a really cool premise and that really gave like a more open world environment to Pokemon and like a less linear experience. And it really kind of to me, like growing up as a child, imagining like, oh, if Pokemon was real, what it would be like. That's what it kind of felt like, just being out in the wild and you never know what you're gonna run into.
Well, yeah, I noticed. Based on the storylines, it's completing the first Pokedex ever. So the Pokeballs are almost like steampunk look. So when you throw the ball and you catch the Pokemon, a little bit of puff of steam comes out of the Pokeball on the top, so you can tell in the fields when it's caught.
Yeah, cool.
So it seems like it's pretty old school. Be interesting to see how it turns out. Fingers crossed that Game Freak can actually do it, and they're working with possibly. I wouldn't mind if they worked with Nintendo and the guys behind Xenoblade,
Oh, yeah, sure.
because they know how to do open worlds well and making it look pretty and putting a bit of depth into it. So it'd be interesting to see how they go.
I'm like hopeful, and this again is like an older generation like fan of Nintendo. I'm hoping we're gonna see another Pokemon Stadium-esque game come out on the Switch generation. Did you ever play any of the Pokemon Stadiums?
Um, I did. Pokemon Stadium was a cool, fun game. I kind of feel like they could sort of stick those functions and features into a regular Pokemon game.
Oh yeah, true.
Because
Actually,
I think the main reason why I think Stadium was made was because the Pokemon games were still in the Game Boy era and pretty limited.
yeah, and more so if you actually wanted to play someone else in a Pokemon battle, you had to get the Game Boy System Link cord. Like
Yeah.
there was no Wi-Fi connection, there was no Bluetooth. Let's play against each other. It was like a literal old school cord. So you and your mate are like sitting shoulder to shoulder next to each other playing Pokemon.
I
Yeah.
remember doing that a couple times on the school bus, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, even with the stadium, you got the transfer pack and you could play it on the 64.
Yeah, I played the entirety of I think it was Yellow. And to me, like as a child, I was playing Pokemon on a full like on my TV screen. I didn't think it was gonna get any better than that. And now in a lot of ways, Nintendo has kind of foregone the traditional handheld console and they've gone for like this Switch hybrid.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Mm.
So, Reggie, the past president of Nintendo America, said that the Wii U was basically a fail forward in terms of it was a product that didn't work out, but it gave them a lot of ideas on what to do. So instead of getting rid of the gamepad, they basically kept it and just merged the console into it. So,
And obviously it's worked. The Switch is just
mm,
an amazing console. It's even though, like I have a bunch of different consoles, PC,
mm.
I still am on the Switch, I would say the most regularly, just for the portability of it. There's something nice, like if I want to go sit outside on, the veranda, I can just sit there on my Switch and, play the Nintendo Mario collection, or it's just nice. It's a good console.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it a lot over the years. I can't believe it's now 4 years for it.
Right? It feels like time's flown on that one.
It's sold over 80 million, so it will definitely hit the 100 million mark.
Oh, especially when
overtake the Wii.
the Pro comes out, the Switch Pro. Like some of the rumors about what that's going to entail is kind of insane. It's very interesting to me.
Be interesting, yeah. Hopefully they increase memory storage on it so I can put more than 32 gig and
Yeah.
gotta be one or two games now, yeah. So unfortunately, Nintendo games are not too bad in size, but the third party stuff is like, the warning label. You need to get a 32 gig card in order to install this game. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm sure that there will be more, at least 128 gig minimal has to be.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm interested in like the actual like, the processing power. A lot of people are saying it's going to be a 4K resolution, which is wild. I mean, especially when PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X are both saying down the track they'll be 8K capable. And it feels intentional, and it's testament to just how good the core mechanics of the Nintendo games are, that they can be like a generation old in the graphical capabilities, but still
Mhm.
be so popular. It's because they
Yeah,
just make good games.
I think it's definitely the strength of the IPs, and they've managed them pretty well. And I think that's part of the success too, and that's why the games keep selling and selling over the years. They don't do price cuts and that. It's the amazing thing.
Yeah, you'll never see a Nintendo game cheap. It's because that little gold Nintendo seal, this game is approved by Nintendo. That means something, Like when you see
Mhm.
that, you're like, this is going to be a certain like standard
Mm.
of like game.
That's true, and I'm looking forward to the next. I don't know. Let's say another 4 years for the Switch generation,
Mm, I believe it.
and we'll see what happens. All right. So, the other topic I want to chat to you about was Rocket League, seeming that I'm getting into it a fair bit.
Yeah, it's exciting to see because I've messaged you on separate occasions because I myself I've actually been playing Rocket League on and off on every single different console, including PC,
Oh,
since 2016. So I started on the PlayStation 4,
hmm.
and then I played it on the PC for a while. Then I got it on the Xbox, and then when it became free to play, it was just like another game I had on my Nintendo Switch. So I play it sometimes on my Switch when I'm on the go, and I just, feel like hearing some of that fun bass music before you get into a game, and then I hop in and have a go.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking for games to stream on the PS4, and Rocket League was one of those games that I didn't mind playing, but I kept forgetting about. So it was good that you sort of got me to play a couple of games the last time, and I was like, oh, I should add this to the roster list, and
Yeah.
I got the Rocket Pass, and I've been, oh geez, what am I up to? There are differences between the XP level and tiers. I don't know why.
Yeah, so it's kind of
Various
like
tiers.
it's very similar to Fortnite in like there's like just your account has certain levels regardless of the battle pass, but
Okay.
then you progress through the battle pass, and the battle pass is like where you get the majority of the rewards.
Right.
And the battle
Okay.
pass is actually different to Fortnite in where, so with Fortnite, I know you've played it significantly before. You were grinding out trying to get Iron Man as high level as possible. Um,
Mm-hmm.
in Rocket League, once you go past level 100, you still get a random unique reward for every level you go up, and it's always like a painted item for your car, which is pretty cool.
Well, that's actually handy.
Yeah,
Oh.
and I think it adds more value to the battle pass. Plus, you can trade Rocket League items, whereas you can't really trade Fortnite items. But
No, you
that all
can't.
dates back to like there used to be like loot crates in Rocket League, and then
Okay.
yeah,
That's
and then
yeah.
Psyonix got acquired by Epic, and then it wasn't like, oh, we can't do those microtransactions anymore. What free to play business module works where we still make money? Oh, we'll put a battle pass in for seasons, and we'll introduce seasons.
Yeah. All right. And it seems like it's worked for Rocket League.
It I feel like I personally, and I've been discussing this with some of my other friends, I
Mhm.
am much more comfortable putting 15, $20 into a game that I got for free versus buying a game like Call of Duty or even Overwatch, and there's microtransactions in that game, and I'm like, well, I've already paid for the game. why do I have to pay more? So I'm much more generous with the business model of a free to play game with microtransactions versus a full price game that still has
Yeah,
microtransactions.
I think that makes sense. I don't mind. Probably Overwatch is one of the other games I don't mind. I was going to get it for the PS4 as well, but it's like at $99 still, and I'm like, you're not Nintendo guys.
No, but they're Blizzard. So Blizzard, you mentioned Nintendo. Blizzard
Yeah.
is one of the other game businesses. They don't really reduce price. Blizzard are kind of meant to have a prestige about them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess they do with some of the games. Not quite the company themselves. There's obviously some business practices like all the big AAA companies that they dabble into. But
Yeah.
yes, their games are good. You know, they're very popular, and that there are other games as well. So with the Rocket League, so you've got the tiers and XPs. I also noticed there are blueprints,
hmm
which apparently I have to pay money for or something
Yeah.
or
So
credit.
Blueprints, the too long didn't read version of Blueprints are just randomly, not even for leveling up. It's just for hours put into the game. You'll be given these blueprints, and you
Mm-hmm.
can spend the microtransaction currency. In this case, I think it's just called credits, and you can use them to unlock the blueprint to get the item that's in the blueprint. I really don't do it because unfortunately, although some of the items are cool, the amount of money that Epic asks you to pay for them like isn't what you'd be able to pay if you were just trading with someone. So Epic kind of overcharges you for the items,
Right.
and I think they're doing it to try and control the marketplace because there are items now in Rocket League that are worth like thousands of real dollars. They're a
Wow.
virtual currency item. Yeah, the alpha boosts, the alpha hats, some of the rarer cars. They go for a lot of money now, and I think that's like Epic's way of trying to like squash that a little bit by making the blueprints and controlling the marketplace.
Yeah, that's interesting. So what do you do with the blueprints? Just not a
M-
lot or trade
Mine
them?
mostly sit there. So when I actually I stopped streaming when me and my partner moved to where we currently are because it's just not a good situation to stream. But I used to give them away to people on stream, and I'm ashamed to say I would get random kids on the stream or random anyone, and because there are people who genuinely care about this, you know, the skin. For me, I'm like, yeah, it looks cool, whatever. But people really care about this stuff, so I used to get people to sing for items. So enough, yeah, and it's still one of the most viewed videos. It's still on my Twitch account. It's this kid who's like singing this song, and he's like a young kid, and his voice is kind of a little bit shaky, and like he's definitely here having those like pops from a 13-year-old voice, and he's
Mm-hmm.
singing one thing. And then he busts out into this really amazing rap, and I was losing my mind because this kid's just busted out a rap, and he sounded amazing. And so I gave him just like all this stuff from Rocket League, and he thought it was the best thing ever. His mind was blown that he was getting this free stuff. And to me, I was like, dude, I don't care. I spent $10 on the battle pass. It doesn't matter to me. It's
Wow.
interesting. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you could do that.
I
You could
should
do
probably just give
giveaways.
them. So you can just trade them off to someone else.
So unfortunately, you can only trade, and I'm not sure if this is a smart decision or a dumb decision by Epic. And it all dates back to them having to follow the policies they kind of set before they were bought, before Psyonix was bought by Epic. You can't cross-platform trade because if we could, like,
Uh,
I have like
uh,
thousands of items, and I'd give them to you. It would serve you better than me. Like, I have a car that I like the looks of. Sometimes I change the wheels, but apart from that, my car always, pretty much stays the same.
okay, so I noticed with the Switch and the PS4, there are some items that do cross over. I noticed that my Back to the Future card does not cross over to the PS4.
Yeah, so I have an exclusive car I purchased
Mm-hmm.
before you could even before there was the Rocket Pass before this is like 2017, 2018,
Okay.
and if I play on the Switch it's not there,
Wow. So
which is a shame because
I'm
I
just thinking that there must be like, for example, where's your main collection on?
oh mine is on the Xbox, so I don't have my PC account anymore. It's
Oh
and
wow.
my Xbox and my Switch are still under the same Epic ID. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't understand why, even though they're under the same ID, I can't have it all regardless because I have, on Fortnite, I have skins that were Nintendo Switch exclusive skins. I got one of the free Nintendo Switch bundles when I got my Switch for Fortnite,
Oh,
and I can use that skin when I'm playing Fortnite on my Xbox, but I can't get stuff that I got on my Xbox for Rocket League on my Switch, so it doesn't go with both games.
so there's no actual crossover at all.
I don't know. I don't know to the extent it is because I
I
haven't
think,
played on the Switch for a little while now, but yeah.
yeah, I think what they told me was like DLC premium stuff they couldn't do.
Oh, so
But for general stuff, it's okay.
okay, so
So the way that I could think of doing it would be if you traded from Xbox to like, I don't know, it has to be the same platform, doesn't it? Shit. I could do PC. It's
mm,
the only thing I could think of.
we'll find a way, and
Yeah.
I'll find a way to get you some stuff, and you can do that for giveaways or whatever.
Yeah, that would work. And so yeah, it's really weird. I'm surprised that Epic Games hasn't tried to make those changes, unless they have other thoughts in mind about that.
Yeah, there's got to be a reason why that's not just a yeah, you can do it straight away, no worries, have a nice day.
Mm. Oh well, that's the way it is, I guess.
How
Um,
how are you
yep.
enjoying Rocket League?
um, Quite well. At first, I wasn't really good at it. Like I was struggling a bit, and then I discovered that there was a button called a power slide. I was like, oh, that's how you turn it easily, right? So I've been doing pretty well, like doing good passes and shots. Every now and again, I get a nice goal. So, but I think I'm just good at sort of setting up play.
Yeah, I've noticed that about you. You're because Rocket League, bro, is such a hard game, and the more you think you're getting better, it just never ends. So, like, I play a lot of ranked, and I'm in diamond rank. So,
Whoa.
yeah, so below me there's bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. But above me there's champ, grand champ, and supersonic legend. And even though I know, compared to how I played last year or even 6 months ago, I'm better at the game, the skill level it never becomes any easier. And I think their matchmaking system does a very good job of pairing you against people on an equal or slightly better. So you're always improving and learning the game. And I think you've already done that. Like, and you're not even playing ranked right now. You're playing casual, but you're learning more and more about the mechanics. And like,
Hmm.
there are certain things. Even from the last two times you played Rocket League, I noticed like on the second last time you were playing Rocket League, you wouldn't really hop on the walls much. You were a bit more anxious. And then in the more recent Rocket League, you're on the walls. You're like trying different stuff, and it's really about understanding the mechanics of the game, and then from there how you can like play within that, and then you just get better and better.
Yeah, I think that's what I've learned too. I have played some of the ranked stuff. I think for experience points or something like that. And there is a bit of a difference. Like it does get a bit tricky and hard, especially depending on your teammates and especially in casual mode. I've noticed. So I think in ranked mode it does get a bit serious sometimes. Some of the chat messengers are
Yeah, the
more like
toxicity.
hat.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what a save, what a save. And I'm like, that was a really good save I did. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Is
they're
that
being
sarcasm?
condescending. Yeah.
What?
Yes. So the
So,
casual's
yeah,
weird
go
to
on.
me, right? Because like
Hmm.
sometimes you'll have a teammate and like in the first 30 seconds the other team will score against you, and they're already like being toxic and throwing out the water saves and the nice shots if you miss the ball. And I'm
Yeah.
like like it always boggles me, like 30 seconds of the game have gone, it's one goal down, like why do you have this mentality? Like it's one goal, you need to relax and like focus on the game instead of being toxic to teammates. But it's like sometimes they'll just randomly quit, and then you've got a computer on your team, it replaces them with the computer until another player hops in. And that's like so frustrating in casual. So
Uh,
even though
uh,
like for so long in ranked I was just getting smashed and I was getting beaten, I stuck to it because I knew like people don't want to quit ranked as much because it's their rating, and people care more about that.
yeah.
And then eventually you do get put in the skill bracket you deserve, so you'll constantly be against similarly skilled players. Whereas in casual, because there's no skill level, sometimes I'll be in a game with people who are just terrible, like so much worse than me, and I can walk through them. But then randomly I'll get people who are like, like really high ranked grand champ who are in a casual mode and destroy you. It's like really tough.
Oh, yeah, especially with casual, it can be quite random who you pick up and who your teammates are and who you're versing and how many quit during the match.
Yeah, exactly, right? How many rotations happen in the match?
So which is pretty annoying. But yeah, I've been enjoying the game and I think at first I was a bit timid at the game, but now I feel like I'm doing all right and I probably at times in matches hang back a bit and just watch what's happening and then I'll sort of charge and see if it opening. It's a bit like being the playmaker in a like a rugby game or something.
Yeah, it's it's
I
just
don't
a bit.
know, the halfback or something, I don't know which position, but the someone who sort of sees an opportunity instead of trying to chase the ball all the time. That I've noticed that's sort of the way to do it. Or I sort of kick it along the sides and sort of try to set up a play there.
Yeah,
So
100%. I've seen your like one of the most important things I've learned from Fortnite, from Rocket League is just patience. You just have to have some patience sometimes. Sometimes the optimal decision isn't trying to rush to the ball straight away. It's doing what you're talking about, sitting back, kind of assessing the situation and going, "No, now is my right time to come in."
mm. Yeah, that's what I've learned too. I think I still struggle with the very high aerial balls and things like that. When it's super high, I'm like, oh god, where's that going to drop? So, and some people just zooming in the air, and I'm like, how do they do that? So I think that's one area that I struggle with. But if it's on the ground and it's just, the sort of the chess type thing on the ground, I can sort of work it out well, I think. So I've enjoyed that.
Well, the great thing is like all those aerials and mechanics and stuff. To me, there's like two definitive parts of like Rocket League. There's the
Mhm.
mechanical skills, like being able to do what you said, flying up in the air, or being able to make a save or take a good shot. And then there's the game knowledge, like the having the understanding of the way the game is flowing. Oh, okay, my teammate's pushing up for the ball right now, so I'll stay back or I'll look for a situation where they might pass it to me instead of chasing the ball. Oh, my teammates just missed the ball and now they're coming towards us. I'll get ready to defend instead of trying to get to the ball. And those two mechanics, like I personally believe I have pretty good like game knowledge and just understanding of what to do in situations. But where I mess up is like the mechanic skills. Like I can aerial and do the stuff you're talking about, but
Mhm.
sometimes I'll see dudes who are literally flying in the air upside down, spinning, and then they'll hit the ball off the backboard twice to smash it in the goal. And I'm just like, all right, that's me done for the day. I can't compete with that. That's too much for me.
Oh, definitely. I've watched some of the stuff on Twitch, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, mind-boggling, right?
So,
Like, and that's the thing. Like, I thought I was good at Rocket League until I like reached out and started looking at like what other people do in the game. I was like, oh man, like I'm just like so very average at this game.
it's pretty much like aerial football, really. Just
Yes,
everyone in the air, just hitting
yeah.
each other. I'm like, you don't even need the ground.
So
It's yeah.
by being in Diamond, I'm probably in the like the top 20% of people who play Rocket League. But the skill gap between me trying to get into the top 15% is more advanced than me in the 80%. So I'm closer in skill level to the 80% than I am to the top 15%. Because it
Wow.
just gets so much more technical. It just gets ridiculous.
Oh, it would be really technical and complex Rocket League as you go on, especially how sort of 3D the game is and the complexities of it.
And team communication becomes a necessity when you're playing twos or threes. It gets deep.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the solo matches.
Yeah, see, I think I'm pretty strong at the solo matches, but I don't like them either. I just like hanging out. Like to me, when I first started playing Rocket League, it was just to play with my mates. Another game I could play with my mates. I love real soccer, so it made sense to me. There were a couple of tournaments actually here in Canberra at the video game bar Reload, and I entered one of them with a friend, and we won the first game. So I was like, oh, we're gonna win this whole tournament because we absolutely killed the first game. It was 7-1, and then the next game we get beaten 7-0, and then I realized I was a little fish in a big pond.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure some of those competitive people go looking for that type of stuff. Yeah, but it is interesting how you verse against different people now. Now, what other notes have I got? So yeah, I've tried all the solos, duos, and trios. Now, I tried some of the extra mode stuff, like,
I love Rumble. Rumble's great
and I'm
fun.
sitting there during Rumble and thinking about Rocket League, and I'm like, this is something that Mario Kart should have come up with.
Interesting.
If
Yeah,
they were more
100%.
innovative,
Yeah.
but they didn't have to be because they pretty much own the go-kart section. Like you could easily see bananas and like mushrooms instead of, the little power-up stuff, that gives you the boost and all that sort of craziness. It does actually, there's a little bit of a resemblance to bloody Mario Soccer Strikers.
Yeah, I used to
The
love the
weirdness of that game. Yeah.
yeah,
It's a little
and the
more
power ups. Yeah, I can see how you'd relate that to Rumble.
yeah. So that was interesting. I thought, oh, it's a bit like Mario Kart. I was like, oh well, maybe Mario Kart will change. Well, they've got the battle thing, but it's nothing like that. Yeah. But it would be interesting. Who knows? Never if they ever do a collaboration. I think they did do a Mario and Luigi.
Yeah,
Kart.
yeah. There's the Mario and Luigi cars, and I know I can't get them on my Xbox, but I have them on my Nintendo Switch.
That's sad. Yeah. Bloody hell. Yeah. But yeah, I noticed that too. I don't mind Rumble. I don't know if I've tried the other ones yet. I don't remember.
So there's hoops, which is literally basketball, and if you're not strong at aerialing, that's a very tough game because you
Okay.
literally have to push the ball up into the air to get it into the basketball hoop.
Oh,
There's drop shot, which is kind of like a weird version of floor is lava. So once the ball touches your team's side, a hole will appear, and then they can shoot the ball into the hole to score points. And then there's
uh,
snow day, which is just like playing ice hockey.
oh, okay. Ice hockey. That would be interesting.
Yeah, so the ball obviously has pretty impressive physics, when you hit the ball, how hard you hit it, all of that. So it's very different because it's literally a hockey puck and its
Mhm.
mechanics are insane. It just wants to stay to the ground. So it doesn't get up in the air, but when it does and you hit it, it does some very weird things with the physics.
Wow. Oh, I'll try it out later on.
Yeah, give it a
I
watch.
get back into and still grinding. I think I've grinded quite a lot for that pass because I got the double XP and
Yeah, sure.
looking at the challenges. I think I'm like 40 now or something.
And season ends in like 4 days, I think.
Yeah, and the new one will appear, and I'll probably get that. And
Yeah, so they announced with the new season it's like NASCAR and F1 supercars are like the cars you can get in the battle pass.
oh,
Yeah, they released a video trailer of it. And at first I thought it looked fake because it was
mhm.
literally like two like NASCARs just racing around each other on a track, but then as they pan out, they're not on a racing track, they're on a Rocket League field. It's very cool.
Very cool. I should have a look at that
Yeah.
later on. But yes, I think that's all the questions that I can think of for Rocket League. Asking someone who knows a bit more than me, who's played it a bit more longer. But yeah, I'll definitely keep on playing it and streaming it and enjoying it. And I think I've worked out what my first car looks like. It's all
Yeah,
very pretty
actually,
and shiny.
this is something I wanted to tell you that you didn't even realize because you don't know much about the game. So the car you're currently using, the Fennec,
Mm-hmm.
it's got a version where it's got like the outer parts of titanium white and it's worth a lot, but that car in trading is worth a fair bit of money and you didn't even realize when you got it and you were like, oh, this is cool, what's this? And I was there watching the stream when you got it and I'm like, oh my god, I don't have that car, I want that
Well,
car, and I was like
well,
losing it.
yeah, one or two people mentioned it. I think Bunny, who's one of our viewers on the stream, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's a pretty good car." And I'm like, "Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a really good car.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm pretty happy. Is there like differences with the different cars, like a smaller
Absolutely, there
car?
is. So, some cars have physically longer
Yes.
bodies. So, like the Dominus, or you might have seen the Batmobile, or the little short to the ground long cars, and they're really good at like doing flicks and stuff. And then you have the Octane, which is another popular choice. It's the car I think that everyone sees, and I think it's the default car. But the
Right.
Fenix, so the car you have is the
Mhm,
most popular car for air dribbling because it's actually got the shortest body. It's
mhm.
a lot of pros believe, and it's been shown it's easier to keep the ball closer to the car. So for people who love to do stuff in the air, that's the car they use, and that's the car you have, and that's the one thing you don't do with the car.
God damn it. I don't know. So what car would be useful for me, seeming that I keep
Oh,
things on the ground. I
you can't go with the Octane. So the Octane, the default car, is very versatile. So it's good for control. Some of them at one stage, and this is way back when the game first came out.
Yep.
Some of them even had different turning radiuses.
Ooh.
They've kind of gotten rid of that now, and they all kind of handle very similarly. But just because of the size of the body and the shape of them, there are certain things that are easier to do. So on the flat cars, for them, it's a lot easier to like. Sometimes you'll see people kind of trying to keep the ball on the body of the car, and it's easier to do with the flat cars. So each car can kind of do things differently, even though the mechanics of the game are similar.
All right. That's something to keep in mind. I'll probably choose different cars or something like that. We'll see. Probably the next Rocket Pass when I can make the other cars look a little prettier and shinier, and
Yeah,
whether
man.
they happen it, who knows? Got no
If,
idea.
if ever you're just playing Rocket League and you see me online, even if it's not streaming and you just want to play, let me know. I'm always keen to play Rocket League.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think you get like bonus experience points for playing with someone,
You do. You do.
and some achievement or something. Playing with a friend for 20 matches or something like that. So
Yeah, I have every achievement in Rocket League.
oh,
Quite
wow.
happy with it.
Yeah, I think I've got most of the. Well, it's not to do with Rocket League, the PS trophies. So it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
sure.
that. So that's a nice thing. But yeah, I think that's all the questions I have on Rocket League. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No,
to-
but if you haven't already, make sure you check out Nintendo Ninja News and subscribe to that channel. That's all I have to say. Like,
Well,
because this is the Creative Life podcast, which is one thing, but Nintendo Ninja News. If you want to see Chris learning how to play Rocket League and getting better, that's where he's doing it.
that's right. That will be down on one of the main links on the Creative Life podcast, and you can listen to us to all the streaming platforms now, pretty much.
Oh, epic!
A dozen or so on the website. So and well, also we do have the website which has got all of our podcast stuff, and I'm still working on tinkering things. We've got the voicemail where people can just add a voice message, and we can do Q&As and things like that, which is a handy little feature.
Yeah, sure.
So, but yes, I guess I shall wrap it up. So, big thanks to Nathan here for episode 9, I believe we're up to. And we shall let everyone go now, and hopefully people have a good day and they enjoyed our little chat about Nintendo and Rocket League. So that's it for me, and I shall see you later on.